Here are my top 3 tips to protect yourself from stress. Every single client I have ever worked with has had problems protecting themselves from stress, meaning they get stressed out. And then most of my clients also develop physical symptoms. And that is a reinforcing loop, because when you're stressed and you get physical symptoms, your physical symptoms stress you out more, etc. So here are my top 3 tips. 1, protect your body. Find the spots in your body that ache, tingle, burn, bother you at night, and figure out the exercise that's going to hit the spot for them. And it should be gentle enough and repeatable enough that you can just do it like 10 times, 20 times at any point throughout the day, so that you can take care of that weak spot in your body. And if you do that, then throughout the day you'll have more focus and you'll sleep better at night. For me, the problem is my stomach, my hips, and my knees. Those all cause me problems. And when they do, like, my focus gets thrown off, to say the least. What I found is that actually doing lunges throughout the day helps me a lot. And lunges, like, very simple, right? 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, you go up and down. And I'll do 10 at a time as a minimum, meaning 5 on one side, 5 on the other side. And if I do them throughout the day, just here and there, just a little bit, it keeps me from getting past that threshold where I'm stressed and overwhelmed because of the physical pain. So find your weakest spot and then find an exercise that really hits it. And it should not be so hard that it could injure you. It should be gentle enough, and but at the same time, if you do 10 reps of it, you should feel a little something. And then do that periodically throughout the day. So if I do 10 lunges, I call it a tight 10. If I do 20, it's a tasty 20. If I do 30, that's thirsty 30. 40 is a fierce 40. 50 is a filthy 50. And if I do 60, then it's a sexy 60. So find your exercise. Do that throughout the day. Strategy 2, breathe when you're waiting for stuff. So for me, especially when someone is rambling on and on at me and I feel like I can't interrupt them because it's not appropriate, or they have more authority over me, or I want them to like me, or whatever it is, then I get really anxious and my stomach gets tight and tight and tight. But I've found that in all waiting situations, actually, where my stomach can get tight, if I do a certain kind of breathing, that it actually releases my stomach, it keeps me feeling good. And then I don't get that buildup of physical stress and anxiety. So here's how you do that breathing. And this is just me. You might find other breathing techniques. I've tried a lot of breathing techniques, and this one works really well for me. So you start by getting tall. You lift the top of your head up, let your shoulders relax, and you keep your chest in, but you push your belly out when you inhale. And then you just relax when you exhale. So chest in, belly out on the inhale, just relax for the exhale. So that's how you do that breathing. I'll just do, like, you just do it over and over. What I've realized is that it's the breathing that a 2-year-old does, basically, before they get all messed up from anxiety. So just do that in any situation where you're anxious and having to wait for something. Number 3, coach your boss. Boss coaching is a strategy that I came up with when I was working at a middle school about 8 years ago. And I thought I was failing completely. And to be honest, I really was. But at the end of the year, they were like, are you sure you won't stay? Like, are you sure we can't keep you? Because I was coaching my boss the whole time. And it's just sort of like something that I knew was good. And I was like, yeah, I'm good at coaching. I like coaching, because I was also coaching at the time, just like on the side. But at the end of the year, the 3 top people at the school were like, we need more of Dave. And I was like, why? I'm a horrible teacher. And you know, I have gotten better, but at the time I was like a rookie and I was really bad. And but I was coaching my boss, and so she was like, oh, you're like indispensable. And it took me a few years to actually realize this is the strategy for people like me, talented introverts who downplay our victories, who are very self-deprecating in terms of like our strengths and our wins. We need to be coaching our bosses. So here's how you start coaching your boss. There's a lot to it, but here's like how you get started. You just ask them, what's the biggest thing on your plate right now? Like, what are you working on most? And then once they start talking about it, and keep asking them. If they don't like talk about it at first, just follow up like next week or whatever. Just keep asking until they really open up. When they do, you just listen, you breathe, you take it in. And try not to offer advice, but do ask some questions. Get them to talk about it more. And the way you do that is by just being a good listener And again, asking questions, not giving a lot of advice, but once in a while, you can drop like a diamond in there. If you have a really, really good piece of advice, then you want to wait till the perfect time to say it. And you can say it like this. You say, you know, I have a thought. Of course, feel free to take it or leave it, but would you like to hear it? And then you can share the thought, but keep it really concise and only sort of give them the headline. And if they want to hear more, then tell them more. The reason why this works is that coaches, if you've ever had a coach, I've had a dozen coaches. When you have a good coach, they make you feel really inspired and empowered, and they do it without saying very much. They do it just by holding space for you to process stuff. Because the thing is, we don't process problems on our own very well. We kind of ruminate and we go over like negative automatic thoughts, and we just do that over and over. And sometimes we'll strategize a little bit, but talking out loud with another person actually changes our brains. And when that person holds space for us and asks questions to get us to think more deeply about certain aspects, it empowers us, and it often inspires us as well. And then we want more of that because that's a very like positive feeling, and it's something kind of addictive. So become that person for your boss, and then you can be worse at your job, and you can still be indispensable to the company. So those are my top 3 tips for protecting yourself from stress. Protect your body, breathe when you have to wait or when someone is rambling, and coach your boss so that you don't have to worry about being amazing at your job, but you can just be a good boss coach and not say very much, but get them to love you. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.